How to speak smart. The psychology of persuasive communication. Fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. Stop whatever you're doing. What you're about to hear can change the course of your life. That's not an exaggeration. It's the plain truth. There's a quiet but enormously powerful skill that separates people who simply talk from those who influence others, lead meetings, and become reference points wherever they go. And the curious thing is, it has nothing to do with how much schooling you've had, the degree on your wall, or how many followers you have. It's subtler than that. But once you master it, everything changes. Back in 1937, Napoleon Hill traveled the world interviewing more than 500 self-made millionaires. People who started with nothing and built great fortunes. Do you know what he found? Every one of them shared a single trait. It wasn't extraordinary intelligence, privileged connections, or luck. It was the ability to communicate effectively. That seems simple, but that simplicity is massive. Right now, as you hear my voice, your mind is already forming an impression of me. Harsh as it sounds, it's true. In less than 7 seconds you've unconsciously decided whether you trust me. This isn't speculation, it's science. The way we express ourselves creates impressions that can last a lifetime. And here's the uncomfortable part. Those impressions often count for more than everything you've studied or achieved. I once heard from a man who lost the opportunity he wanted most. He wrote, "I lost the job of my dreams. I had more experience, better results, longer tenure. But the other guy communicated better. He simply presented himself better." You can feel the frustration in that. It's like reaching the summit and slipping on the last step. The obstacle in his way. How he communicated. Think about it. How many opportunities have you let pass, not because you lacked skill, but because you didn't show you had it? How many times did you have the right answer, but nobody listened because your presence was weak and your delivery flat? The truth hurts, but needs saying. In the real world, knowing isn't enough. You must make others see that you know. Over the next few minutes, I'll give you a clear, practical path to change that. It doesn't matter if you're shy, if you've never taken a public speaking class, or if the idea of speaking makes you nervous, this is for you. You'll learn psychological principles used by the world's best communicators that turn ordinary talks into captivating speeches. And the best part, you don't have to change who you are. You only need to use what you already have in a different way. Principle 1. Your voice matters more than your resume. Your voice is worth more than your resume. Yes, the way you speak, your rhythm, your intonation, the energy you project, says more about you than a stack of diplomas. Harvard found that in less than half a second people decide whether they will trust you, invest in you, or ignore you, often before you finish your first sentence. I learned this the hard way. I walked into a meeting with investors with a brilliant project and impressive data. Who got the investment? The guy who spoke with such confidence and certainty that every word sounded like the absolute truth. I had the numbers. He had the voice. He won. Communicating well isn't a gift, it's a skill you can train, and everyone can improve. Want to try right now? Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Notice how your voice becomes firmer, deeper, more stable. That small breathing change alone shifts the way you sound. That's what I want to teach you. Simple techniques that change everything. You'll learn how speech can influence, captivate, and persuade, in meetings, in conversations, in front of anyone. And that is invaluable. But mastering your voice is just the beginning. Principle 2. The neurological code of irresistible attention. Use varied tone, insert short pauses for emphasis. Having confidence isn't enough if you don't know what to do with it. Effective communication isn't about sounding pretty. It's about making people feel something. Real leaders don't just inform, they transform. And there's science behind that. Researchers at Stanford discovered that the brain responds to speech like an invisible soundtrack. When you tune your delivery to that frequency, the listener's brain locks in, almost like a trance. It sounds like magic, but it's supported by neuroscience. You start capturing attention in a way people can't explain and can't look away from. There are 3 simple secrets you can start using today. 1. Change your tone. Vary the melody of your voice and the brain pays attention. 2. Use strategic pauses. A few seconds of silence activates the listener's mind. 3. Match human rhythm. Speak at the rhythm of natural breathing to create a deep, almost hypnotic connection. I once spoke to 30 senior executives who normally tune out the best talks in the world. That day I applied these techniques: adjusted tone, controlled rhythm, and well-placed pauses. 45 minutes later, not a single person looked at their phone. One executive came up to me and said, "I don't know how to explain it, but I felt hypnotized." That magnetism didn't come from what I said, it came from how I said it. If this is resonating with you, please like the video and subscribe, not just to support me, but so more people can access content that truly helps. Principle 3. The power of simplicity, Steve Jobs' secret. A fatal mistake people make when trying to speak intelligently is thinking they must use complicated words. The surprise: the more complicated your vocabulary, the less people understand you. And if they don't understand you, they won't trust you. If they don't trust you, they won't follow you. Who understood this better than anyone? Steve Jobs. He didn't talk like an engineer. He explained things as if to his 10-year-old child. He knew simplicity is the highest form of intelligence. I learned this the hard way. I tried to impress business people with technical jargon, terms like predictive conversion rate and behavioral integration. They were lost, and I lost the contract. The next week I pitched the same idea but explained it like I was talking to my nephew. "I'll help you sell more, and this is how much you'll earn." I closed the deal on the spot. The lesson is clear: you don't need to sound smart, you need to be clear. Clarity sells. Clarity connects. Clarity opens doors. Einstein said it: if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. So before you speak, ask, would a 10-year-old get this? If not, simplify. Principle 4. The Sacred Triad of Persuasion. There's an invisible structure behind every speech that persuades. It's not magic, it's technique. Think of it as a formula you can apply every time. I call it the Sacred Triad of Persuasive Communication. 1. Start with curiosity, hook them. 2. Deliver real value. Give something useful. 3. Close with a call to action. Tell them the next step. It sounds simple, which is exactly why most ignore it. Yet this structure is used by the most recognized personalities in the world. It makes messages memorable. But even the best triad won't work without your secret advantage. Your story, your life, your failures, triumphs and truth connects more than any data ever will. You can have the world's best facts, but without emotion the message disappears. Remember the neurological code we talked about? When you speak the right way, with pauses and rhythm, the listener's brain releases dopamine, the same chemical linked to pleasure and reward. That's not by chance. Smart pauses create tension and expectation. A natural rhythm mirrors the listener's own breathing and forms unconscious connection. Musical intonation stirs emotion and curiosity. Try this in your next important conversation. Choose a striking line and, in the middle of it, pause for 3 seconds. It will feel odd at first, but the pause creates a vacuum. The listener's brain fills it, and when you continue, you have their full attention. Intelligent communication isn't about talking faster or using prettier words. It's about speaking in a way no one can ignore. Principle 5. How to speak calmly when everything is falling apart. There's a moment in communication where everything is tested, not when things are calm, but when chaos arrives. Money, reputation, trust, all on the line. That's when the 6th principle matters. You must know how to speak well under pressure. Here's a real story. One Tuesday my phone rang. The director of our largest client, the one responsible for 60% of our revenue, called with a grave message. There's a major error in the project. Legal was involved. We were about to lose millions and our reputation was at stake. An hour later I was in a room with 8 furious executives, shouting, blaming, pointing fingers. My old self would have stammered and tried to defend. That day I breathed, lowered my voice, and applied everything I'd been showing you. I spoke slowly, almost a whisper. People quieted to listen. In chaos, silence becomes authority. A low voice becomes leadership. Whoever shouts shows desperation. Whoever speaks calmly shows control. Then I asked one question. I looked the CEO in the eye and said, "What do you need to see in the next 48 hours to feel confident continuing this project with us?" It sounds simple, but it changed everything. By asking that, I ceded control in a constructive way and refocused everyone's energy. We didn't just keep the contract. The client recommended us to 2 more customers. A crisis became an opportunity because I acted under pressure using strategic communication psychology. Think about how many times you've gone blank in an important talk, or let emotion govern your words. We can't leave this to chance. If you want to be taken seriously, to lead, to influence and grow, you must manage your internal state as well as your words. That only comes with practice, training, and intention. Principle 6, the emotional residue, the mark you leave on others. Talking well goes far beyond words. It's about presence, rhythm, and what people feel after you finish speaking. This is the 6th, no, the 7th, principle that decides if you'll be remembered or forgotten. Emotional residue. Ask yourself after a conversation, do people feel safer, more inspired, more connected? Or do they feel diminished, confused, pressured, or judged? You can use the most technical language, charts and data to exhaustion. But if people don't feel good after talking with you, they won't want to keep listening or be near you. Think of conversations that leave you with a tight chest and a busy head. Someone might be eloquent, but there's something off. That invisible mark is the residue. How do you leave positive emotional residue? Be authentic. Stop copying gestures, postures, or the persona of great speakers. For a long time I made that mistake. My talks were perfect on the outside and empty inside. People sense when there's soul in your words. The transformation came when I stopped following scripts and started sharing my story. My weaknesses, my mistakes, the moments I almost gave up. From that moment something magical happened. People connected, not because I was perfect, but because I was real. Here's the truth, anyone can copy your content, product or idea, but no one can duplicate your essence. Your outlook, your path, your struggle and your recovery, that's unique. That power appears only when you speak from within, not to impress but to leave a mark. When you communicate sincerely, you attract people who resonate with you. People who trust, support and connect. That's what produces lasting results. You don't need to prove yourself all the time. You don't have to be perfect. Be authentic, present, clear-minded, and heartfelt. Practice this and it becomes natural and powerful. Speak so that others feel something positive when you finish. If you master voice with presence, clarity, strategy, and heart, you won't need to chase opportunities, they'll find you. Conclusion. The final key to being unforgettable. Now that you've learned the 7 principles of effective communication, you may feel something shift inside. It's not just knowledge, it's like finding keys that open a door that's been closed your whole life. You now understand why some people win opportunities, connections, and respect with a single conversation while equally talented people remain unnoticed. The difference isn't in what they say, it's in how they say it. The way their message lands, the emotion it creates, and the presence they project. Here's a truth some may not tell you. You already have everything you need. The only thing missing was knowing how to use it. You have a voice. Now you have the tools to turn that voice into a powerful instrument. But it won't happen if you don't use them. Knowledge without action is like finding a magic sword and leaving it in a drawer. It's a waste. It's betraying yourself. So let me invite you sincerely. If this content helped you, if it moved you, like the video and subscribe. It's not for me alone. It helps YouTube understand that this kind of life-changing content matters, and it helps more people discover it. Before I go, ask yourself this. When you finish speaking, what remains in people? Distrust or inspiration? Doubt or clarity? Indifference or a desire to follow you? That invisible trace decides whether you'll be followed, heard, and remembered. You can't fake it. You build it intentionally. Napoleon Hill knew this nearly a century ago. He didn't look for a magic formula. He wanted to understand how ordinary people become extraordinary. He discovered that lasting wealth, the kind that inspires generations, doesn't come only from strategies or technical skills. It starts with how you relate to the world, and the quality of your relationships is directly tied to the quality of your communication. If you want to grow, improve how you speak. If you want to lead, speak with honesty. If you want to prosper, speak with purpose. Most important, live what you say, because the most powerful communication is the one with essence. If you apply just 3 of these principles in the next few days, yes, only 3, you'll notice a difference in your conversations, meetings, and the looks that begin to listen to you with more respect, attention, and openness. And in that moment, you won't want to go back. Write one word in the comments that sums up everything you've learned, the attitude you'll carry forward. I'll write one. Presence. Presence turns ordinary conversation into something you can't ignore. If you've watched this far, that says a lot about you. Now go out, speak with courage, clarity, and presence, and show the world the strength of your voice. Yeah.